be able to get that picture. Yeah, very good. Yeah. I'll be around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good opportunity.
We are starting soon, but for once, the most important now is that you try to get somehow into the internet, either with your own, not into the Wi-Fi, I mean, you get into the internet, but perhaps not via the hotel Wi-Fi, but with your own hotspot. That is now the most important for this session, that you have access to the Slido, okay? So please, you can continue talking because probably it takes you a while. So please, I want to stop you. Get the hotspot of your neighbor or whatever. So, I mean, the most important is now this technicality that you get into the Slido. So please. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We are now coming to our final session. And I have to say, what is nice about that, this is the fourth arena that we are sort of now a bit of a, yeah, we called it, or some people called it, a well-oiled arena machine. I recall the first arena in Gothenburg where even a mic was not helping my voice anymore. And I was so nervous how this voting system would work, etc. But you can hear I still have a voice, so this is nice about this kind of ongoing process that I think one result of BlueMissionBANOS is that we have really learned how to operate these kind of arenas. So happy that we have that. So we are now coming really to a very important part of arenas, because we have developed this kind of system in the first arena, and then I hope that we have sort of improved it ever since, because one of the what is said in the mission implementation plan is to have stakeholder or citizen assemblies, and we actually really try to implement this also through our arenas. How can we sort of get democracy into the room? How can we sort of get democracy into missions? And what we have therefore sort of developed are our last final plenary sessions, where we actually ask all of you, I mean your stakeholders of course, but I guess you're also citizens, to really vote on the action points which should drive here the mission implementation in the South Baltic in Poland. And how do we do so is that that we had action points already printed out, pre-developed before this arena, but then we actually had these 15 different workshops, and as a result of the workshops we will hear in a second that some of the action points put forward have been changed, have been adapted as a result of the discussions you had. And we are now not asking you to sort of discuss any further these action points. After this final plenary, there are again drinks, etc. out there. So basically, these are the areas and the moments where you're very much invited to further discuss about these action points. But what we are actually asking you to do 7 times around is to give your priority vote. So you will always have an option. There are 7 to 8 different action points, and you actually have to decide if you were a politician, or you have to decide we have only so much in our pot of funds, in our pot of resources. What are the 3 top action points under each theme you personally, would sort of vote for? You would sort of prioritize, yeah? So that is 7 times around your task. And in order to see who is in the room, however, we would like to start off with sort of easy questions. So I very much hope that you managed to get onto the Slido. I, for once, really want to see a lot of people sort of working on their iPhones or their laptops or whatever. So we would like to know who's in the room. We have currently 46, 49 people, 50, 60, very good. And good to see that we have still people from Poland in Poland in the room, and Germany,
At least the eastern coast of Sweden and of course also Denmark are part of the South Baltic, so that's fine. But we are a democracy, so actually, you know, that is something for Polish voters or Polish stakeholders that, you know, everybody was invited to come to the final plenary. So you have to accept that also other Baltic Sea states will vote on the top action points which are driving the roadmap here for the South Baltic. And in order to give you also a further teaser that your vote is important, that you should really sort of now read and sort of, you know, make your vote, is what is happening afterwards, you know, when we have done this voting. So what we have done always is that, you know, in terms of the top 3, we will publish them actually tomorrow morning. And because it is really far too much to have 7 times 8 action points, we will only publish always the top 3 under each theme, and we will really push them out to social media and of course also push them out to the European Commission, but also other funding programs, for instance our colleagues from the SPEP, etc., so that they know what were sort of the top action points here. And then what will happen even further is that after Blue Mission BANOS, there will be Blue Action BANOS. And that is a program which will start on 1st of September this year. And here we are very happy that the European Commission has given us the opportunity to actually sort of not only gather people in arenas and to think about what are sort of, you know, good actions and, you know, what should happen, etc., but to give us also a little bit of funding to distribute among the communities in the BANOS area. And we will have 9 million euro to distribute. And if you think this is small money, the advantage of that fund is that we at least hope that we will manage to do so, that it will be a low barrier fund, so that it is actually also really available for communities who may actually not be professionals in writing super large-scale proposals, etc., but where we have a kind of low entry point to enable our local communities here in the BANOS area to take the actions which are necessary in order to implement the mission objectives. And what we will do is that the roadmaps and the action points we have developed over the course of these 4 arenas, we will synthesize them, and they will actually be our framework where we will tell people that, you know, you can apply, but it should fit under, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 action points we have developed over the course of these 2.5 years' time. So it is very important that, you know, in fact, in terms of this roadmap, this is not only a theory. This is sort of the guiding document for sort of the actions which can be funded over the course of the next years, and it is actually to be launched from 1st of September onwards. So watch out, perhaps some of you are also interested to apply in the future. Okay, so we know who's in the room, but, you know, we also want to know, we have not asked you to sort of give your, you know, you don't have to give your exact age, but we would like to know sort of the age distribution, and I'm very happy to see that we have really a good distribution. Younger, actually quite a young crowd. No? Ah, okay. 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 I cannot sort of hear. it's nice to see, because we have heard so much over the course of the 1.5 days' time about, oh, when we met 20 years ago, etc. So some met already when they were 16. That's nice. So okay. Okay. And next question. Your background, yeah. So are you other, or are you actually from companies, researchers? Clusters, so if you're not company, but also, you know, representing a cluster, an association, etc., please do so. And I think that's actually also a very nice distribution to see, because we have been quite often sort of approach, yeah, this is just, you know, researchers talking to each other, but I think we have here proof that this is not the case. And then I think, Marco, we still have even another question to come. Oh, yeah. Did you meet interesting people at the mission arena? We always stay positive. We will not ask you whether you met somebody who, yeah, you did not like or whatever. Okay. Great. Okay, and then I think there is a last question. Or, yeah, one more. Yeah, so did you get, on a personal level, any new ideas, and even then interesting ideas you would like to sort of pick up? I got many, I have to say, from these various workshops. Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks. And this can stay on, or rather you can also, there's one more.
No, first action point.
So now, actually, that was sort of the entry point, and with that, I would actually like to ask Marco to open the Slido for the first theme we had, which was on MSP and multi-use. And for that, I would like to ask Magda here to come to the stage. And please, now it's about multi-use. And multi-use is also multitasking, and I think that you are all, doing very well. So please, actually read what is in the action points on MSP and multi-use, and do your voting as fast as possible, because Magda will only have the opportunity to talk as long as I can see that we had sort of, 77 or 80 votes here. So please, Magda, tell me about the workshops, your impressions, what was new, what did you take out?
Okay, so we had 2 workshops connected with MSP, so multi-use and today's 20 years celebrations, which I remember, unfortunately, 20 years ago. So from the multi-use, the thing was, for us as Poland, quite important, because we are, our MSP will be revised probably starting next year. So all this information, all those good experience and wonderful ideas which we heard yesterday, I do hope they can be implemented in a revision of our MSP. So this is one huge advantage of this arena. And today, 20 years of celebration, besides a wonderful cake and wonderful memories, and seeing Bernard once again, and thinking about the godfather and godmother of MSP, and looking at the responses also from 5 minutes ago, I have impression that we really need young people to come to such events and to enter the MSP worlds. We need students to be taught. We need young researchers. So please come back to your countries and advise young people to enter this wonderful world of maritime spatial planning. This is the end.
No, you still have. What was next for you new?
You have 40 more people who should vote. What was new for me in the MSP world?
Or multi-use, or
multi-use. Okay, the new was the exchange and the difference between the North Sea, because we heard about the ultra farms and about your documents on advising the German government and the Mari Park, and the impression was that we have two different realities, like in Poland or in the Baltic Sea, where we are not thinking so much about the multi-use, and the impression that the investors are not very keen of multi-use, and then we are hearing from experience from North Sea, when we heard that investors are keen or they are aware and they are asking about the multi-use. So this is the difference for me, and I don't know why exactly there's such a difference is there. But I think that we have to work not also at the governmental, national, somebody knows, I heard this. So there probably have to be work done on the side of country and also maybe on the investor side. But that was interesting, and I really hope that during the revision of MSP we can start this discussion, give a floor, give a
Okay, and now you have your personal cake in the sense that if you're now allowed to, you're allowed to turn around, and basically, so you see that actually what was the sixth point on the actions, facilitate the transition from policy declarations to concrete measures is the first one, on multi-use concepts. Implement concrete actions to facilitate cooperation among stakeholders from different sectors. And the third one, establish enabling governance frameworks and provide targeted incentives to stimulate private sector involvement in multi-use initiatives. Would this have been also your favorites?
I was thinking how, because we have two points connected to multi-use, and I was thinking whether we will have those on the short list, and I'm glad we have those. And I'm glad that we have facilitated transition from declaration to concrete actions, measures on the first place, because that's something that we should do, and that's good if it will be on the list. And my favorite is the number 3, strengthen the capacity of MSP and provide with the tools to address blah, 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 blah. And so that's my favorite, so I'm also glad that it's on the short list. So I'm satisfied.
Okay. Thanks, Magda. So,
and I'm satisfied with the arena, so thank you.
Please sit down and mark the first ones, because we later on may sort of have also a round of cross debate about the various themes. So with that, I would like to invite who do I invite? Joanna to actually present or talk about your results from marine protection and restoration. And here, yet again, the same thing. Please look at your iPhones, your whatever mobile devices, and do your voting while Joanna is sort of speaking about her experience, her new take-home messages from the MPA workshops.
Okay, so I'm actually not the MPA person. So I'm not dealing with a conservation on daily basis, but so for me, these workshops were really interesting because they allowed me to sort of extend my perspective on what is understood by nature conservation. And I think that 2 points were kind of striking for me. First of all, that there are a lot of projects that are doing quite similar work, but are not properly connected to each other, that they are building similar services or similar toolboxes, and that we are not connected to each other. So this was actually a great opportunity to learn a bit more what is going on within the European project. For me, it was interesting to also learn that there will be another initiatives like that when we can again see what other projects are doing and how we can actually develop something that will be a lasting legacy of what we are doing right now. And I also know that it's not only us who are thinking about it, because I think there's already a European initiative how to actually connect all these toolboxes, all these web platforms, all these AI-supported decision-supporting system, and probably there is a lot of more I don't remember right now. and put it to actually be used and streamlined into decision making, into management, and into actually conservation measures. So that would be my first point. Something new and something interesting. A little bit of controversy, I would say, is greenwashing okay? And are we suffering if we add a little bit of greenwashing into nature-based solution? So yeah, I think that's a very good question. I'm not gonna try to answer it, but I think that was an interesting issue that was brought up during that session. Yeah.
Okay, and I think while we are still waiting for perhaps 5 or 10 more votes to come, I have to really say that I super much enjoyed sort of also the way some of the workshops were organized, and that Slido is nice, but sometimes it's also nice that we really had this voting system around discussion tables, and where it was, yes, MPAs are good, but sometimes or between no MPAs are not sufficient, but that we really had sort of, here quite a lot of good new thinking coming out. And with that, you can also now look at the results. So in terms of the 7 points which were brought up, your top vote is to identify and evaluate marine habitats and environmental resources in view of their significance, explore options for using nature-based solutions, nature-inspired design of grey infrastructure in the South Baltic, and tackling the PFAS. Is that the right word? PFAS? PFAS problem is essential, and it's best to prevent their use as a group through EU level legislation. Should apply to all products. I think that is something, and it's interesting that this comes up third also. I think it's something which is not mentioned in the mission implementation plan, etc. And it's also will be very important for us, given the fact that when we are now going into the new phase of mission, where in any case in the BANOS area we were not only focusing on blue economy, carbon neutrality and circularity, we were always thinking already about reducing pollution and increasing biodiversity. But nevertheless, in the next phase, we really sort of are asked to sort of go across all the 3 different objectives. So this is very important to guide us. Huh?
Yeah, I actually think it's very nice that each point could be assigned to a different workshop, so I think it's also a compliment for us that we have chosen the good topics for the workshop, and I'm personally very happy that the first point was voted first, because I think it's very important to bring social, environmental and economic science together and finally start to explore the phenomena from all these 3 different perspectives.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And with that, we are moving to our third theme, which is about citizen engagement and education. And I would like to ask Timon from IOPLAN to sort of come here. You had the most difficult task because we just came out of the citizen engagement workshop, and while the others are sort of, looking into the action points and doing their voting, I think you can come fresh from your workshop and get your impressions directly from what you get.
Yes, so the first impression was to simplify language and messages, and that also refers to some of these questions that we have and sentences that we have here. I think some of them are like halfway through and are getting lost, right? So I think it would be a very good point to all of us. The second thing was in terms of citizen engagement is to open ourselves to people, to talk to them, listen to them, and let them talk. Having said that, we had the whole session about education in universities, and I noticed previously 1% of students here. So I think this is a lesson for us as well. I mean, we're talking about these good solutions and good suggestions, except that we are making the same mistakes as we would like to change them, right? So I think it's a lesson, very good lesson for all of us, right? Okay. So that was another thing that we had about citizen engagement. What else? Universities should have a lot of support to make international connections, like the Erasmus thing. That the departments should be different from what we have now. And this is now my personal opinion. It was interesting to see that we are still thinking more or less within the structure that we have. Well, I do believe that it's 21st century, and if we want to make a change, I think we have to go outside of this university structure box. One of the slogans was that departments suck, and I certainly do believe that to some extent it's absolutely the message, because I believe that if we want to deal with modern education, if we want to empower young people with the best possibilities, we have to let them choose their path, and we have to empower them with the tools and mechanisms to go through this path, right? Departments are not necessarily structures that help this kind of approach. So it was a very interesting thing for me. We're all here seeking for change, but we're still using the structure that we have. So my appeal would be, let's go out of the structure.
Thank you, Timon. No, I think we can be there so fast, and I think they want to get to the drinks. But I mean, actually, I can only say that I also really learned a lot, and I think it was also very interesting to see what your colleagues are doing, and that, yes, we talk about the young ones, but that there are also programs for those who are silver-haired and, who, in terms of, have the elderly, etc. So that here it's also necessary to bring them on board. And I think I also took home that we always talk about students and university exchange, etc., but that actually the skills we need, or the top skills, or the top lack and gap in skills, for instance, when I heard from the offshore wind, were electricians. Yeah, so I mean that actually, it's also there that it's really necessary. So we have the vote. We see promote ocean literacy in schools is the top voted. Blue Economy hubs, create regional hubs that connect industry and academia, organize events, etc., networking sessions, but also people in need of employment, and actually develop entrepreneurship and innovation training, so that that entrepreneurship training should include innovative practices, business modeling, startup development. Surprises to you? Were these also your top-notch three?
Not really. In Europe, we have 16% of young people, the population. So it's still people my age plus who rule the world. So we have to empower them, yes, but without putting other generations on board and work together, young ones do not have much of a chance. So yes, we have to empower them, but we have to work all together. So multi-generation approach, definitely. But yeah, I fully agree that we have to put the ocean literacy in schools. That's definitely a very good investment.
Okay, thanks a lot. Please take your seat, and a round of applause also for you being very efficient. And actually what I find very interesting here is that the top free here in this last session were actually, however, the last points which were in the in the original Slido. So you really sort of make your careful choices. So now we move to Blue Foods. We had a lot of sessions which I understood was also not only about blue food, but also blue feed. We had nice pet food and puppy dogs, etc. So perhaps the way we have framed these sessions, or how we combine it, is perhaps not completely correct. But very happy to see Thomas back, and and also with your research capabilities. So that is one point of Arenas, also always to see really people, with whom one has worked for a long time. And Thomas, so please tell me about your impressions from the workshops we had on blue foods, while the audience is voting.
Very shortly. Of course, we had at least 2 fantastic workshops on blue food and blue pet food. And we discussed a lot about aquaculture, sustainable aquaculture products, about transforming underutilized species and invasive species into the new food concept. And but I will not tell you about these fantastic ideas. You could read about this. I will tell you about challenges we identify at the end of the sessions. And the first challenge is that regardless of origin of this new food concept, consumer acceptance is a key point, and we know that consumers want food which is affordable price, and also convenience. So sustainable stories is a nice thing, but we also think about supporting this by real products and products that meet consumer expectations. The second bullet point is we identify that we still have some regulatory barriers for example, use of side stream from aquaculture, from fish processing. So we have nice ideas for zero waste strategies, but some regulatory barriers should be overcome. And the third bullet point is that despite very great ideas in scientific project, we are still very weak in transforming this into the industry and into the final market concept. So our final thought was that co-design, working with industry and with consumer is a key point for future scientific European projects.
Okay, thanks a lot. And you can already see what are sort of the top votes. I was very impressed by your market research, that there is also so much difference between the consumers, even in the Baltic Sea region, on how they take their decisions. But take a look now. So, strengthen local coastal communities by diversifying fisheries and aquaculture towards new low impact.
Yes, absolutely. Point 2 and 3 are in line with my thinking about problems. Point 1 is something to be rethink. It's very interesting. But absolutely, point 2 and 3 are in line with our final remarks from the last session.
Okay, I think, in point 1, I guess it's sort of really, you have to read the whole sentence in a sense that, you had your slide, I was in one of your workshops where, when people think about aquaculture, it's still that 90% think about salmon as aquaculture, and they don't think about algae or whatever as aquaculture. Perhaps so in an arena in 10 years' time, perhaps this will sort of change. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, and please sit down, take note of what are your top points. And with that, I would like to go to the point which is it's not much more complicated, but the more political one about governance. And we really, we have a lot of representatives here from the region. Thanks, Corinne, that you volunteered to be the rapporteur for this very complex theme. And where we even had, it's so complex that we have 9 action points. You still can only vote for 3 top ones. But it was also because we had quite a number of workshops on governance. So please give your experience, Corinne.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, what I would like to present here, and the results resulted in 9 action points, is so to say the compilation of 3 governance workshops, and we were discussing the governance topic from quite a very, very different perspective. So there was one workshop on tools for multi-level governance, mainly dedicated to practitioners who really work with implementing MSP tools, and to those who have to find solutions when it comes to plan the coastal areas, the maritime space, so to say, in their region, in their communities. And it was a very, very interesting workshop, and we tried to figure out how the so-called land-to-sea navigator is working. Colleagues from HELCOM and from the Ministry of Environment presented the methodology to us, and at the end we also had a small insight into how this navigator will work at the end of this project. The second workshop was the BlueMissionBANOS governance workshop. We have a work package called Governance in the BlueMissionBANOS project, and we organized this workshop together with our nice colleagues from Sintef Ocean. Thanks a lot, Dorothy, Kari, and Emily, for this inspiring workshop. And it was really inspiring and challenging because we were not just conducting typical World Cafe, but integrated a role play into this World Cafe format. So that was really inspiring, and we discussed governance pathways we developed in workshops before at the last mission arenas, and to create best case scenarios for the BANOS region. The third workshop dealing with governance took place today, just before the final panel started, and it was about integrating blue and green. So how can we, it was very much focused on the blue bioeconomy sector, and how we can integrate questions from the agroecology or bioeconomy field, land-based, into and the maritime blue bioeconomy questions together. It was very, very interesting, and we're discussing challenges like legislation questions, harmonization. There are so many differences between the single EU member states, and how we can achieve perhaps in future a better harmonization in this sector. And especially the results from the Shaping Bio project were presented, and the work of the USBSR program area bioeconomy.
And now, yes, we can actually take a look what from the 9 action points has been top voted, and the top vote goes to co-creation and collaboration among practitioners, also to improve communication, engagement, strengthen multi-level governance. And then to harmonize indicators, classifications, legislative terminology, to better integrate blue bioeconomy contributions, so something quite different, but in terms of standardizations, we had also labeling before, and to strengthen early stage innovation by fostering applied R&D partnerships between academia and industry. So there comes very often this co-creation. Is this something that would have been also your top three from?
Yeah, at least our BlueMissionBANOS action points are not included here, but but nevertheless it shows quite good that we have the actors here in the room, the actors from the South Baltic region, and so yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. But I think, well, I guess that our arenas are, at least in terms of their format, definitely sort of inviting for co-creation and collaboration, and of course what is meant by practitioners, that is always sort of debatable. And I think we also do have, not only in BlueMissionBANOS, but also in other projects, but really sort of the major work package, which we did not discuss here today or yesterday, in terms of how to monitor. Also, not only how to monitor the species and the habitats, etc., but actually also how to monitor success of mission ocean implementation. And I think that is something which will drive us also in the future to come. And only 2 to go, so you are doing very well, 2 to go, but we still have sort of the topic of marine infrastructure to come. And here I would like to invite Magdalena from NCBR to take the floor. It's actually something which is sort of quite a new topic. We did not have this topic as a topic in other arenas, but I think this also came from really the stakeholders here from the South Baltic region to have a need of such kind of topic. So please, Magdalena, if you can tell me about your workshops. I understood from you when we talked prior that you were really impressed that the action points have completely changed.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much for this introduction. Indeed, the increased interest in security is obviously a result of the ever-changing geopolitical situation, but it's also very much in line with our key message of Polish presidency, which is security Europe. So that's why we focus on this one. As you rightly said, we have so many new action points. So, to the point, we've been working very hard during 3 workshops. First one on secure marine infrastructure, then the life of a leisure boat, and then a total blast from rust to risk, wrecks and munition. It was indeed a blast. So, as for the secure marine infrastructure, you can see the points in your phones. I cannot see them, but I would like to mention just 3 of them that we have added. These are brand new. We added them because we had top-class experts at the workshop who assisted us in forging those new points. Now we are more aware, better informed, and we know more about the tools. So our first added action point is to strengthen marine security in the Baltic Sea region, and here we call for development of a coordinated strategy to address rising hybrid threats, secure offshore wind farms, and improve risk prediction and mitigation. Our second added point is to protect and make critical submarine infrastructure more resilient and secure. And this includes also enhancement of the resilience of submarine cables against growing threats through innovation and coordinating monitoring and sensing systems. Last but not least, we would like to boost research and secure networks, and this by leveraging European advances in AI, quantum computing, and data spaces to build secure, real-time maritime security systems. So, and it's only new action points for the secure infrastructure, but we have more. As far as the leisure boat life, well, the life of a leisure boat changes completely. So we have total new points. You can see them in your phones and probably on the screen. So I will only provide you with the explanation why they change so much. So first, we need to explore new business models, encouraging sustainability during the entire lifetime of the boat. For example, boat ownership. That's a very interesting concept. We need to implement environmental education on national level. For example, incorporate environmental knowledge, ocean literacy in navigation license requirements. That's a very practical solution. Incorporate environmental information in all sea charts. Exchange experience and best practices on material reuse, recycling with other industry. And this is also the synergy we need to explore, for example, the synergy with wind turbine developers. As for the next point, we also need a standardized approach to boat registry in Europe to reduce the amount of abandoned boats. That's a really massive problem, the abandoned boats. We need to develop specific funds or financing mechanisms for boat part recyclers, as well as boat retrofitting companies. We need to develop regulation for reuse of material used in leisure boating industry, so we need to make it more circular. And last explanation for the life of the leisure boat points, we need to develop regulation for composite material treatment in the EU level. For example, inclusion of in the EU waste list. We need to regulate on supply chain responsibility over materials used for boat building. We need to implement subsidies for alternative new engines and fuels.
Magdalena, our stakeholders are very, very fast. So, I mean, do you want to sort of still raise points from
So good news for you is that we didn't change the action points for REX and munition, but we are very much aware, more than ever, of the urgency of the actions. So the action points remain unchanged, but the awareness of urgency rise a lot. We are actually terrified after this workshop, and this is exactly how we should feel.
Okay, thanks a lot. We can sort of turn we can turn what has been top voted. I think this is really an important topic we have covered here, because it was nowhere in the mission implementation plan. I think it was sort of simply something which was, at the time when this was developed, perhaps not so much a topic which was so much on the screen, but I think that also mission can be adaptive, and that when we go into the deployment phase of the mission, that we should definitely also allow actions to be deployed, which are simply also very important to restore our oceans and waters. And let's take a look. So I think we have as a top one from the leisure boat one, or actually from the shipping one. So to really sort of think about also repair, retrofit, reuse existing boats. So to actually have really a life cycle understanding of, of the life of the boat, and that any boat which is built again is of course then using new materials, so that it's really sort of the life cycle we have to look at. And then of course the coordinated strategy to address rising hybrid threats. Something also from, I think which was new for me, as when we started off with maritime spatial planning and spatial efficiency, that we had always said we really have to bundle also the cables in order to sort of really make space available for other users. And I learned, not here, but in other workshops where basically this kind of strategy may also have its threats if you have the cables bundled all together, because that is where the critical point is, of course. And boost research and secure networks. So leverage EU advances in AI, quantum computing, data spaces, etc. I think that's also something which really has sort of, accelerated so much over the course of the past years. Was also not so much in the original mission implementation plan, but something we really have to take on board for the diplomacy.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. So great job, everybody. Thank you so much. You are working actually on the new action plans.
Thank you, Magdalena. Okay, so please sit down. And with that, we really come to the last vote and the last topical area of the mission, and very happy, Aline, that you volunteered to be rapporteur for the shipping topic. So, put your strengths together. This is your last action for you to take, where you have to look into the action points. Did the action points change a lot?
They did, I think, but I think the more interesting part is that all the action points we have and the discussions we've had during these 2 days has been very tied to earlier reporters. State of urgency and the feeling of urgency has been a major discussion, especially in terms of new fuels and developing fuels, and also risks associated with co as of right now. We also have a lot on communication and stakeholder engagement. In particular, the role of the Port Authority and the perspective to have a regional focus, not to be within your own port and within your own business and operations, but share knowledge and share collaboration and take the role of being an organizing factor is also a big part. And then also in terms of education and research, there was a lot of pressure on the importance of having independent research. There is a lot of lobbying in shipping, and especially when it comes to new fuels, and to be sure of that the information we have and that is readily available is independent and secure. So that's 3 very distinct focus areas. But I would say that the most important factor, especially regarding to risk, is the idea that we need to keep 2 things in mind at the same time, which is the current operations and the current fuels we are seeing, the current infrastructure we're having, as well as the transition, and deal with them at the same time. Because in some cases, we're forgetting the current developments, and we don't have legislation for very low sulfur fuel oils, for instance, or risk management. And in other cases, we're not planning on integrating for future fuels, for instance. So those, I think, are the main aspects that we have discussed. But there's a lot of new points in some regards, but we think we have captured most of it earlier as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think we can sort of already take a look at sort of the top-notch votes. I really take home also from this arena that was in previous arenas not so easy to organize sort of workshops around shipping and ports, because we very often experience that the shipping world is actually sort of quite a different group of stakeholders. And I was very happy to see that here at the Arena 4, it felt so easy, and that we suddenly sort of actually found many connecting points, that we actually really have to have the ports much more on the screen, the shipping have to integrate it with the other marine users, etc. Was that also your feeling?
Yes, I think so. I haven't been to that once before, which I think might be a sign of this in some regard. But I think in terms of connections, that is often a problem we have with the very commercial aspect of shipping. Like the leisure boats, like the LCE aspects, that was the highest rated, is very key factor also for commercial vessels and all of those aspects. So I think you're right, and I think we can find more.
Okay, so let's take a look. So in terms of the first one, It's really about investing in modern, climate-resilient maritime infrastructure that also supports sustainable port operations, safe navigation, again, foster strategic partnerships with private sector stakeholders, so we see that reappearing, and strengthen regional cooperation frameworks to use and integrate risk assessment tools. Do you want to comment on that?
I'm very happy that risk assessment tool is up here, because I think that's very important and essential to what you're doing. And otherwise, yes, I would agree. Infrastructure is crucial, and partnership is central. So I think that was a great selection.
Thanks a lot. And with that, you have made it. You know, we have made it. You have made it. So I think you can give yourself an applause, a round of applause. And we actually also have a little present for you, because Marco, if you could put up now our big picture, not this one, but that one, yeah, exactly, because that is also a good tradition of arenas, that we always want to come home with a big picture. We also use it, of course, also for our roadmap, and just as a kind of reminding point of what has been going on here. And yeah, while you're looking at this, I would like to extend actually also the rapporteur role to Margarita, because of course there was one particular long-term, in a sense, session ongoing at IOPAN, the SBEP, the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership, Baltic Sea workshop. And Margarita, of course, we want to hear from you what was going on there, and perhaps also to connect it back. There was now a lot here from the specific workshops on how this is relating to the aspect. Please, Margarita, come to
Thank you
here.
very much. I'm gonna, yes, I'm here. My name is Margherita Cappelletto from the Italian Ministry of University and Research. As you can see, I'm not from the Baltic Sea. And I couldn't answer to the first poll, but you are so famous that we come from other basin to join the mission arena in the Baltic. No, I'm just joking, but I would like really to thank you for hosting us in the Blue Mission Arena. Is the second time that we are experiencing this synergy, and I mean, we are appreciating a lot, and I will come in 2 minutes in the topic that we addressed at the regional workshop, not after having thanked also IOPAN that hosted us really next door. So made this synergy possible. Given the fact that the audience is so big, I would like to take 1 minute to make all the participants aware of what is the EU Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership. For those who does not know, it's a pan-European initiative within which enabled by the framework program of the Commission, lasting the entire framework program, and within which 75 partner organizations from 30 countries, together with the European Commission, are pooling resources to develop and implement joint transnational call on a yearly basis. This year, in September 2025, we will launch our third call for transnational projects, and this is an opportunity that can be of interest for all of you, because our approach is to integrate the regional specificities into a pan-European perspective, ensuring that the impact is happening at the local level. This was the reason and the rationale behind the need of exploring a long, one-day-long workshop, precisely what are the needs at present, so that we are updated, of the Baltic communities in the following intervention areas that are our flagship thematics, so that whatever we will do as in terms of implementation, joint calls, but also additional activities, is very well informed, including from the regional perspective. and always aware of what's happening in terms of policy development at EU and even at global level. So having a brief that looks always at the more broader policy developments, we dig into the needs of the digital twin of the ocean, of the blue bioresources, of the managing sea uses, of the resilient coastal community and businesses with a specific focus on tourism, and of course on the transition of blue economy sector with specific regard to a multi-use of shore structure. And I'm listing these because there are words are the same, and the synergy with the topic and the discussion topic that you summarized today, as well as the name of the parallel workshop to which I attended also yesterday, are so the same. Are so same that I consider today that the partnership had the privilege to expand the view not only at the level of invited speakers, but also thanks to the input of the BANOS workshop. It is an opportunity for us in the perspective of building. This is a new thing that we will do, a regional portfolio of projects to understand what are the active projects and initiatives in order not to lose this massive amount of knowledge, expertise and legacy that has been generated. Coming back to the topics, it will be too long to list every single output, but maybe what I could conclude on a very superficial and general approach was that perhaps it's time it's mature to start considering where these thematics really overlaps. For instance, it was mentioned the need to deploy DTO for multi-use, but at the same time, so we need the multi-use to deploy offshore platforms. So I would leave the conversation and perhaps complement afterwards on this message. Let's work together and have also that these topics are not seen as compartmentalized. And I believe that the typology of expertise and stakeholder that we managed to have at our workshop that are here can really make the difference. By hearing different voices, we will definitely improve our strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Margherita. Oh, sit down here. Good. Okay. And my nice colleague Sylvia is showing me sort of the clock, so therefore, we will actually not sort of have now an extensive panel discussion because, it may be nicer to talk over drinks. But since you are sitting here so intelligently, I think I would still sort of like to give the mic for a last take-home message, what you take home and your hopes for mission implementation here in the Polish or in the South Baltic, Poland, etc. And I would like to start here with Magdalena because we met 2 years. It was 2 years ago, I think, where you had the first Blue Economy Forum not in Sopot, it was in Gdansk. And do you see already a bit of a change over the course of these 2 years in what is mission in Poland? Be short and sharp and sort of get the mic across.
Yes, thank you. Well, as you rightly mentioned at the opening, I was the one who 2 years ago in Gdańsk was convincing everyone to organize a Mission Arena 4 in Poland as one event with the Blue Economy Baltic Forum and as an event accompanying Polish presidency. So here we are. We have also joined forces with Sustainable Blue Economy partnership, which is a massive success that we managed to organize this event together. And here we have this major event in Sopot. And let me compare the figures and let the figures sing, actually. Because for the Blue Economy Baltic Forum 2 years ago, we had 150 people registered and 100 participants. And this year, we had 300 people registered, and only because Rally closed the registration, I think we could have 500. And we had 200 of participants. But we are not only winning by numbers, we have gathered here a critical mass of experts coming from different areas: security, infrastructure, biodiversity, blue food, spatial planning, governance, etc. But also industries, citizens, organizations. Together we have forged the roadmap and action points, and the messages are very strong. And thanks to this international exchange, we have also become more aware of the urgency of the action. But there is still hope, because I could see many groups of people getting to know each other, planning new future projects. So the key word here is the collaboration. And the other key message of our presidency is security. And security of the Baltic is the security of our lives, because that's not only civil security, military security, but it's also food security, health security, environmental security. So I think I will stop here, and my call for action would be let's keep this good job going, and I hope to meet you very time soon and to admire the concrete implemented actions for Baltic Sea.
Thanks, Magdalena. Very short, Karim, you had the privilege, because, you know, obviously you're also part of BlueMissionBANOS, you're leading the governance work package. What is your sort of from Arena 4, from Arena 1 to Arena 4, what is your key take-home message?
It was a kind of journey, so to say, because the first kind of foresight workshop will be organized during the first mission arena, the second one in Amsterdam, and now the fourth one. And we designed, so to say, best case scenarios on different scale, on the supranational scale, national scale, and regional, more local scale. And when I take a look at the voting of the action points, it really means to me or to us as BlueMissionBANOS project that we have to really come up with practical solutions for the regional or municipality level in the further implementation of the Mission Ocean, the second phase.
Okay, thank you very much. And if you pass the mic to Thomas, you have not been at other arenas, I know, but in terms of sort of, you know, your normal project partner, workshops, conferences, etc., what was for you here different?
Different. No, I will answer to another question. And my answer will be what is the very, very strong point from this meeting is that for many different areas, not only for Blue Food, but also for citizen engagement and other things that the key point is education and cooperation. Cooperation also in kind of co-creation, co-design, and a stronger integration of project with whole value chain. I think this is the difference that we think about this.
Okay, thanks. And now if you
Any question?
whatever your last point wants to be, Thomas, you're also in Timon, in citizen engagement, you're part of BlueMissionBANOS. What is your main take-home? For your own, because it was now in your own hometown here, so...
I think a lot was said by Corinne and Magda, and I do believe that I think we have some sort of understanding that we have to change our mindsets about many things, and I think that's I'll use the expression that Magda said. There's still hope. So I think that would be my message: changing our mindsets opening to new ideas, and I could hear it at the workshop that we had. And yes, once again,
Thanks.
there's
Yes.
still hope.
Very good method. Dana, especially from your perspective here, that we had the arena at your, home cities, hometowns, where I heard, by the way, that these are the happy cities in Poland, so please.
Yeah, so I'm actually not living here. So, yeah, but basically what I would like to maybe add or build on what Timon has actually said, I think there is actually hope. We have to learn a new way of thinking, change our mindset, try to think and work out of the box and out of the structures we are used to. And I personally would love to see some of the action points that were highly voted actually being put into practice. And to Magda.
Thank you very much. I have already one follower.
Okay, I'm not sharp anymore, so I will be short. I would love to see the Mission Ocean actions being brought closer to practical words, looking from the MSP national processes. So the transfer between the projects and the practical world should be strengthened, and this is also something that we have to do.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I would, short, and then also Eline, because I don't want to miss anybody. Margarita.
Thank you. I am witnessing the very nice and cohesive atmosphere and even informal, and I think this typology of initiative needs time, that this network needs the due time to be built and continue, so to ensure that the activities are meaningful. Today we have learned that in the Baltic Sea there is no more fish, but definitely more tourists are expected, so that this sea basin will become the new Mediterranean. It's not the only parallel, because yesterday I attended a workshop where there is this adaptation of a submarine cables project into the Mediterranean area. So I would conclude with a note to really foster and support cross-basin exchange, as only the CSA can do, because there are 4 lighthouses, and this, I think it's the interesting part of the program, of the mission.
Thanks, Margarita. Yes, that's very true. Good point. We go local, but we also have to foster the exchange between the solutions, between the sea basins, etc. But I don't want to say so much. Eline, your last word.
I think I'll tie into that, because we're talking about regionalization and implementation of solutions in a very concrete way, very locally, and then exchange that knowledge. And I think taking actions and curate the networks we have here in the discussions to actually new projects and implementation will be very interesting.
Thanks a lot, and I think for that, a big round of applause to these rapporteurs. And please sit very shortly, because I think what is really sort of a change which we have achieved from day 1 to day 2 is, I think you see many more women here, so we are sure that we have sort of a good gender balance. So thanks a lot for being so kind to be our rapporteurs. And with that, we are not finished yet, because we always take it as a cycle, and we had the opening from the European Commission, from the Mission Secretariat, the DG Mare representative, and I'm very happy and honored that we have Loïc Blanchard here from the Mission Secretariat, from the DG RTD point of view, and you now have the very difficult task to sort of wrap it all up. Loïc, the word is to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you Yeah, difficult. I will start by good news. I was given 15 minutes. I'll do in 5. So, I think everybody's it's the declining light of the sun, so it's just some good sign there. As we come close to the end of this workshop, I just want to take a moment with you in 5 minutes to reflect on what you have accomplished together and what you built over this one day, which I think is not just a collection of ideas and strategies and discussion, it's much more. I think it's a powerful foundation for real change. It's a shared commitment to a future that you can shape together with intention and purpose. It's my first participation in the arena. I understand I was not sure it was the third, now I know it's the fourth, but that's the last of BlueMissionBANOS 1. So if I understand correctly, there will be future BlueMissionBANOS, maybe with different names. So, and when I came yesterday, I was not sure what the workshop could deliver, to be frank. We were attending a lot of events in the commission, so maybe I was thinking maybe it's another stakeholder workshop where people position themselves and just do not engage. But to the contrary, I met participants with different perspectives, backgrounds, and experience, and as I was moving through the different sessions, I couldn't attend everything, but I tried to go 20 minutes in each to get a bit the feeling. What stood out for me was the intense, constructive, and committed discussions that I've witnessed. And they were not just exchange of information, they were real dialogues. And this I really appreciated, and I think it puts boundaries, question our assumptions, challenge us to think bigger. It's something you should all take great pride in. You've shown, at least to me, that coming together, with open mind, a shared vision, many of them can be tackled and addressed, which is good because it's one of the strategy, the mission of the mission. But the workshop is not just about discussion. It's about what we do next. It's about carrying that momentum from this discussion, even though very interesting, into action. And the road ahead is not as easy as it could be, and it will require more of the same, more collaboration, more courage, and more determination in a changing policy landscape. Geopolitically, but also in terms of financial constraints. So we have to turn those conversations into action that make a tangible difference. Second page, I have 2 pages for the way. So, as you know, my colleague, Jacques yesterday said that very soon the European Ocean Pact, but also the EU Water Resilience Strategy will be published, and there will be the defining framework under which we will be working. And as we live today, I mean, I'd like everyone to go home, carrying out, and continue to have this energy from those discussions. Now our real conclusions coming. I would like to first thank the BlueMissionBANOS team. I don't know all of you. I know the most visible one, but I'm sure there's a team behind for organizing successfully the arena, but also bringing together this mission community. And for me, it was very important because very often we are in Brussels in our office behind our computers and talking about stakeholders, but we don't know you very well. In fact, in reality, we have to come and see you, which was very good for me to see this vibrant community behind this lighthouse system. I'd like to thank all of you for your active engagement, for the next step and the priorities, and I welcome, I don't know if I can say adoption of those 21 actions. I don't know how you will be. We'll have to see. I've seen some of them, especially on the governance one, are not clearly what the Commission had in mind, so we have to reflect on this. And I think that this roadmap will be an important building block, not only for this lighthouse, but for the other lighthouse also, especially setting the direction for the next phase where we clearly need to accelerate progress and push for the deployment at scale of solutions, concrete solutions on the ground, which is a bit the missing element still in the mission. So, and it's everyone, us in the Commission, but also a national, regional, local level, the collective responsibility to meet those 2030 targets. And the research and innovation provide us the solution to take the heat out of the system in response to the climate and biodiversity crisis urgently, we heard the words many times, and accelerate the sustainable socio-economic recovery, leaving no one behind. And I will add, because I was missing, but I heard it from different rapporteurs, also to include a younger generation. So again, thank you very much for your dedication, your hard work, your commitment. You have contributed in ways that you cannot imagine, at least for me, to continue to resonate long after this workshop. And I will try to bring to Brussels that enthusiasm in our meetings. I wish you safe travels for the one who travel tonight or tomorrow, and let's keep this momentum together to build a better and more resilient Europe. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for these nice words, and yeah, I will also not keep you much longer because Sylvia shows me it's 28 past 6. But I would like to sort of say a few words about what will happen afterwards. So first of all, yes, we have been asked quite a number of times now, and I'm actually quite happy that I have been asked, and I have been looking into sad eyes when we were saying, yes, that was the last arena so far. There will not be an Arena 5, but you know, we will sort of take sort of the sad eye message, and you know, we'll sort of see whether we can have arenas in whether it's called MissionBANOS 2 and whatever proposals are coming in, that because they're such a powerful cooperation and collaboration tool. But there will be, of course, another conference, a final conference to come, and in sort of the good tradition to move with the presidencies, we are very happy that there will be a mission conference in Denmark, in Nyborg, on the 23rd and 24th of September, in line with the Danish presidency. And I understood from Cecilia that it will, to a certain extent be open, and that I therefore very much hope to see quite a number of you also at this conference in Denmark, 23rd, 24th of September. Then as a very next step also, please look into your email boxes, because also as a nice tradition, we will not ask for an evaluation now, but we will of course ask for feedback for also ways of improvement, etc. From all of you who have been here. And if you want to have these nice photos which have been taken, or you want to check whether they are nice, we always, as a nice tradition, we also say, okay, if you sort of do the evaluation, it only takes 5 minutes, then you will actually also get access to the download of the photos, and this will sort of take us perhaps sort of like 4 days, etc. to come. So please do the evaluation. As sort of a present, you then will get sort of the open link to probably your own nice photo or the nice photo of your neighbor. Okay, and with that, it's really sort of almost drinking time, but because you said there are many people who are behind this, and so it's, it's not only me, And I would really like to thank, first of all, those who have come from other projects, who have even contributed, also even financially, not only with your brains and with your contacts and with your time and preparing for workshops, etc. So perhaps somebody, you can raise your hand who has come from other projects, who has organized workshops. If you can simply raise your hand, and all the others can please give a big round of applause to those who have been involved in all the projects. And then as a very last step, I think indeed I would like to that all the Sabrina Network Secretariat staff are perhaps for once not only standing up, but please come here. Those who are normally working behind the scenes, please, please, please come here to the front. Thanks a lot, and with that I would like to not say goodbye, but open the floor for drinks, another set of good talks, and I hope you don't have to rush and now travel home, but that you can actually enjoy also the nice place we are in. Perhaps you don't go immediately to the beach, but still share a drink with us, stay with us, and reflect on what has been going on. And yeah, see you and goodbye, and thanks to all of you. Thanks.
The beer is cold. Beer is very cold.
There was another one. Bring beer to the spa. So I think it's already.
Turn on.
Yeah. So cute.